Video. I picked up this from eBay. Seller was not the nicest person to deal with at all. Top of it, it was during COVID. Come to find out, this Tandy is an SX20. It came from the Federal Reserve Bank, which was kind of interesting. So on top of that, that explains a lot of my issues I've been having with it. Done some testing on the board. Found out there's a couple of resistors fried, probably on purpose, coming from a federal bank. The hard drive is dead, obvious reasons, federal bank. Tried plugging it into my other big system over there to read it. Nada. Ain't coming to life. It's dead. So, then I started trying to play with the floppy drive. No. Floppy drive is dead. So, it being a Tandy, it gets its power from the motherboard. Issue, good luck trying to find one of those drives. Problem has been solved, however, thanks to a YouTuber. I stumbled across this video a long time ago, forgot all about it. Happened to remember it finally. His channel is In My Spare Time 101. Great job on the video. I wish you did a little bit more in depth on the cable, but I figured it out. Thank you. So, on the floppy drive cable, you need to kill these wires here. Cut them off so that way you don't get power going to the floppy drive and it backfeeding from an aftermarket floppy drive. So, cut those wires out. Give you a little screenshot there of which ones you actually need to cut out. There you go. So from the red wire, you're going 1, 2, cut the 3rd, 4, cut the 5, 6, cut the 7, 8, cut 9, and I believe I'm doing that right. Yeah, follow the picture, you'll see that. Then, this is only a single drive floppy cable I used, aftermarket. Then you'll have to disconnect this back panel here. And so far in, I think it was 10 and 12, you actually need to flip those over to keep it from backfeeding, or not backfeeding, being able to seek the drive. Then you can run your standard floppy drive. Now, problem I had with hard drive. So, I installed this little guy. It's a little 32 megabyte. The problem I'm going to have here, I won't be able to put a CD-ROM in it. So I'm going to have to get ingenious and figure out a solution for that. Get this back in here. Then I'll figure that part out. Now, the motherboard problem. I replaced it. I ordered one from Canada. I know, they're maple syrup, man. I'm telling you. Saw it on eBay for about 2 months. I finally just went ahead and pulled the trigger on it. It was $30, $40, something like that. Already into this system, $100. Well, $200 really. Way more than what I planned on spending on one. Especially as many headaches as I had. However, the only reason why I went ahead and pulled the trigger on it is because it already has the upgraded video memory on it. These two little guys right here. And on top of it, instead of being a 20 megahertz, I don't know if the camera's going to focus in on here, it's 25 megahertz. Now, it doesn't have the math coprocessor yet. Came with 2 extra megabytes of RAM, total of 3. So, does it work? as you can see, I'm getting better where I am, or further than what I am, excuse me. As you can see, I have a working floppy in this now, an aftermarket working floppy. And there we go. Now at least this one I was able to access the BIOS without having to use a floppy drive. For whatever reason, the SX20 you had to use the file off of the Tandy floppy disk. It was on DOS 5.0 for Tandys. On this one you can actually go in and press F2, I believe, to get into it. I'll set it up. So I configure the hard disk, and I'm going to put this on a tripod real quick. Okay, before I get started in this too much, a little intermission in between the Tandy build. So right up here behind me, you definitely want to check out his channel, Dinty's Hideaway. He does some interviews of John V. Roach, I believe. Yes. Very good information. It follows along with what I'm doing with this Tandy over here, which has been a cluster to try to get working because of the motherboard layout. I wish I could find a BIOS update to fix what I'm going through here. Unfortunately, I'm not finding anything. Yeah, it might be one of those deals where I eventually have to rewrite it, and I'll have to get a... oh, I can't even remember the name of the hardware for it. So anyway, definitely check out this guy's page. Great guy. I got in touch with him a couple months ago, actually, on his former channel, where he did one on the iOmega zip drive, or iOmega in general. I got in touch with him there. Holy cow. He does very good interviews. Can't recommend him enough. So, on to this beast. So, as you can see, we got a cluster here, like I said earlier. So, story so far. CF cards, don't even bother wasting your time with that. Like I said, the BIOS is very, very, very finicky. Your best bet is trying to find an old hard drive. I hate to say it, but try to find an old one. Luckily, I had one out of an old Packard Bell PackMate X16, I believe. Working computer other than power supply. That's another project somewhere down the line. It might actually support the CF card, so I might be able to keep this hard drive in here. I don't know yet. So, get this silly thing adjusted here. So, as you can see, right there, I got an ST 157A-1 hard drive in it. A beast of a hard drive. Like a double stack 3.5. But the BIOS recognized it. I had to go in and actually enter in the pre-compensation landing zone for it. I was able to use the BIOS settings for cylinders 1024, heads of 5, sector/track 17. Then you have to enter in the pre-compensation landing zone of 512. Have to. You can't bypass that. So I'll let you listen to her fire up. Zoom back out here. Yeah, I got my other computers running in the background, but here we go. And I went ahead and went with DOS 5.0. Why? Because I happen to have the original floppies off of my original machine, which was identical to this one. So, there we go. Got a few other things on there going with it too, so I reformatted this drive and started playing around, making sure everything works on it. Thus far, we're golden. So, I'm gonna try to figure out how I'm gonna mount this double stack in this drive caddy, so to speak. Because as you can see, probably have to pull the power supply out in order to get it set up in there. So that's where we are. Finally got it built, set up, and bear with me for a moment here. Yes, okay. So that was the original Tandy motherboard in there. I finally got fed up with it, yanked it. As you can see, it doesn't have the video expansion in there for the memory on it. But upon further inspection of it, there was a resistor that fried in here. And I can't even remember what the blooming thing is. Now, like I said, it came from Federal Bank, so who knows. The only thing original in this one, other than being original parts, just instead of a 20 megahertz, I'm up to a 25 megahertz 386. Is the case, power supply, and yeah. Gave up on the bloomin' original 3.5 inch floppy, but that'll fit in there eventually. The aftermarket one will. So, first video in a while. Thank you for staying tuned this long. Yeah, thank you guys.